Hello, my name is Zachariah with Old Man Gaming, and welcome back to another 5 Things. So this is kind of a special 5 Things. It's going to be kind of serve as a season finale of shorts, of sorts. Shorts, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But, 5 Things is actually one of the most difficult creatively to do because we have to come up with the thing and the 5 things each week. Which tends to make things a little bit hard. So what we decided to do, so every so often we have to take some breaks. We have to take a decent sized break to let that creative stuff kind of get back into our noggins. So this will be the last 5 thing for a while, but that shouldn't dissuade you from commenting because I will still read these comments on whenever we come back with the next 5 things in however many weeks it will be. So for the big kind of break-taking episode. What did I decide to do? Well, I decided to get right down to it. E3's going on right now, or finishing up when this is releasing, and I just thought, what better way to celebrate it than to go big with 5 things, games we want to see in Games Pass. Yeah, I know, kind of skirting the issue. 5 things, 5 games, whatever, but still. I'm very excited about this one. I asked the community, I asked some friends, I asked, what do you guys want to see in Games Pass that isn't there already? I mean, right now, Games Pass is the most value for your dollar in gaming anywhere that you can get. But that doesn't mean it can't be better, right? Nonetheless, before we get into that, housekeeping. I have always promised that I would read the comments from the previous 5 things on the next 5 things, no matter how long that takes. And we did have some comments last week. So, first of all, our 5 things last thing were 5 things we would like to see in Fallout 5, the next big Fallout release. Obviously, that's a ways off. There was tons of rumors that it might be announced at the E3. Obviously, that didn't happen. Still, we did 5 things. And I reached out to some people who are very Fallout heavy. Number one, we got Scott Bell, who was quoted in a lot of the 5 things last week, that he said, I was all set to argue for unlimited character progression, but I think you've swung my opinion on that. Open/free development with a cap does fit in with choices having consequences, something I hadn't really thought about before. Also, thanks for the shout out and for the kind words, parentheses, I have been playing some Skyrim. Thank you. Because as like I've said repeatedly that Fallout is the only game he plays. But yes, he plays other games sometimes, I suppose. Then we had Jason, the professor, my Fallout 4 character. Unsurprisingly, has very few combat perks, laughing face. They're all focused on sediment building/crafting, which item go hand in hand, or utilitarian like the one that lets you breathe water. Edit, Fallout 76 would be better if there was the ability to shift your camp into and out of a solo map. Well, I agree with you on that, although I think there's a lot of things that they could do to Fallout 76 to make it better before that. Nonetheless, Jason plays Fallout 4 like a settlement simulator. He doesn't really do the story. He does the settlement mainly, and more power to him. So that's where that came from. All right. So those comments out of the way. The last little bits of housekeeping. The 5 things/games that I'm about to read to you do not come in any particular order. This isn't a countdown. It's just whichever ones I wrote down, and whichever ones fall out of my face, basically. So just keep that in mind as I read. So without any further ado, let's get to it. Let's talk about 5 games we want to see in Games Pass. So number one, this one was submitted by my podcast co-host, Mr. Neil, aka Tiny Wizard, and I thought it was a good one, even though it's not one game, it's multiple games. Nonetheless, I thought it was a good one, and he said 360 games, specifically more 360 games. there aren't that many 360 games in Games Pass when you really look at it. I mean, yes, they have the exclusives from those times, and they have all the Bethesda old games, but there's a lot of games on 360 and even OG Xbox that weren't there. I'd love to see some more OG stuff, like Knights of the Old Republic, which is the footage that I got for here. I'd love to see that in here. I know it's impossible, but I'd love to see Mech Warrior. And where is Crimson Skies, man? I want to see some Crimson Skies in here. That was actually an exclusive too, so I don't know why that hasn't found its way onto Games Pass. So this was a really good one. Really like it. Thank you for the suggestion, Neil, and I appreciate it. Moving on, number 2 is submitted by the man. I don't know where I was going with that one. The Buildmaster General, Philbilly330, and you guys should already know which ones he's going to throw out there, and that would be Borderlands. Now, he said specifically Borderlands 3, but I'd like to see any of the Borderlands. Borderlands Legendary, the Legendary Remaster. I'd love to see Borderlands 2. I'd love to see the pre-sequel. Put any of the Borderlands games in Games Pass, and it would be great. And let's face it, some of these games, some of the Borderlands games could really use that, like, kick in the arm, that shot in the arm, to really boost them back into the zeitgeist. And Games Pass has been known to do that. It has been known to, like, wow, get the player base back going. And I think this would be a great way to do that, especially if you add them in there with all their DLC free. That'd be amazing. It'd be absolutely amazing, and we'd love to see that. So let's get any of the Borderlands games in here. I mean, specifically Borderlands 3, we'd love to see that in there, but any of them in there. And across all things. Like, we want to see it from PC as well as console, which has been a big divider on a lot of things. So that's a good one. Thank you, Phil Big, for that suggestion. Third suggestion comes from Jason the Professor. Now, Jason, he had 5 suggestions. They were all good. The Binding of Isaac was on there. He had Silent Hill Homecoming. There was a few others. Graveyard Keeper. All of these would be great, but the one that really stood out to me was the Bioshock Trilogy. I would love to see the Bioshock Trilogy on here. And I know that this is starting to turn into the 5 game collections, but hey, that would be a really cumbersome title, so bear with me. But I'd love to see the Bioshock Trilogy in here, especially from a guy who's never played the Bioshock Trilogy. It's just one of those that passed me by, and I've never gotten around to going back to it. So this would be a great way to be like, hey, I could just play it on Games Pass. And again, anything that's gone into Games Pass we've already seen is just, it's a huge rise in player base for them, and it gets people talking about a game that otherwise would be on its way out the door. So let's see Bioshock. Let's see the Bioshock Trilogy in there. Number 4. Alright, this one is personal to me. This is mine. And I don't know that a lot of people will agree with this one, but this is something that actually kind of pissed me off. Recently, For Honor went into Games Pass, but it only went into Games Pass for console and cloud. It did not go in for PC, and I can't for the life of me figure out why. Why would they do that? I so want For Honor on my PC, but I don't want to buy it again. I've already bought twice in my life. I don't want to purchase it again. So please, please, please put the PC version of For Honor on Games Pass. It's one of the great... It's in my... And this is, to me, I know that, like, the For Honor does okay for itself, but I know it's not the most popular multiplayer games of the service out there. But for me, it is absolutely, bar none, the best PvP experience that I've experienced in my life. I love that game. I love playing that game, and I want to play it on my kick-ass PC. And I've already bought it twice. Please, just put it in Games Pass so I can play it on PC. Please, 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 please. Also, I want to force my friends to play it. I cannot force my friends to play it if I cannot get it for them for free. So please, please, let me force my friends to play For Honor. And that was mine. I'm sorry, everybody. You had to give me a minute to kind of, like, go off the rails on that. But there you go. And then number 5, the final one. This one was suggested by our unofficial community manager, the guy who comments on all of our videos, unequivocally our biggest fan, and that would be Kev Too Tall. Kev said the Arkham series. Any game from the Arkham series he would like to see. Arkham Knight, Arkham Asylum, whatever. Arkham Knights. No, Arkham Knight, Arkham Asylum, and Arkham City. Any of those would be great, and those are absolutely classic games. I personally don't like Batman. Never really have never really have connected with that character that much. That being said, I've played all three of these games and loved them start to finish. In my opinion, as far as not even just video games, as far as movies, whatever, if it's not a comic book, this is absolutely the bar none best Batman you can submerge yourself in. If you want a Batman experience that's not straight up a comic book and you want it good, this is absolutely the best. I direct everybody here. Don't skip the Nolan movies, skip the Keaton movies, go right to Arkham Asylum. These are the best. I absolutely love these games. I love the stories. They're great. They're great. So that's it. So I know we kind of cheated. It's not really 5 games. It was 5 series basically that I wanted to see in there. But this is a finale. So there's got to be twists, right? That's the twist. That's the twist. We broke all the rules today. We broke all the rules. But nonetheless, this was a lot of fun. And I just want to say I do love doing this show. We will be back with it. It's just I got to take a little time off to decide to kind of let the creative juices drop, I guess, as to what we want to see out of things. So in the future, prepare yourselves for more 5 things. Definitely. For now, we're going to take a little bit of a break. Nonetheless, I want to thank everybody for watching, and you can check out everything the channel has to offer here. You can also contact us on Facebook at OmanGamingDH, on Twitter at OmanGaming9. You can join our Discord. Link will be in the description below. You can influence this and all of our shows from there. Guys, as long as you guys keep watching and listening, we'll keep making them. See you guys next time.